Arrival! Yay! After a 9-hour flight, we make it safe and sound and arrive at the JP Engel Airport de Zanderij in Suriname. And we have to walk down the stairs and towards the building. We're super lucky that it's dry because when we reach the building, it actually started to rain super hard. But yeah, Suriname is South America next to the Amazon, so tropical rainforests expect a lot of rain. Possibly. This is February, it's the short rainy season. In the terminal, we actually find a piece of furniture that my dad knows the carpenter. So that's super cool. Our charter driver was already waiting, which was awesome. Look at my face. I am so excited just to be here. He is driving us from the airport all the way to our destination, and he will be our driver for the rest of the trip. In Suriname, they actually drive to the left. That's the only thing that the English colonizers left behind. Get it? Left. Anyway, it is still raining on and off, so there are periods of rain and then it's dry. As you will see throughout my trip, the Dutch actually left a much bigger imprint on Suriname. They still do. And an example are these brands that you see on this storefront. As the caption of this clip says, arrival at Kamp Fu Amanja, which is the plot of my dad. He points to the left to the specific tree that marks the boundary of his land. Yeah, I'm as confused as you are looking at this. So here we are at the entrance. We have to come to a complete stop and drive really, really carefully because the amount of rain has actually washed parts of or damaged part of the road. It didn't wash the road away, but there are huge gullies and this car can get stuck or obviously damaged, which the driver is very careful about. My dad also points out the post or other tree that marks then the other boundary of his terrain. And I'll just believe him. This is a old structure where they actually had a generator way back in the day. He's planning to take that down, and we talk a bit about accessibility, and I'm already super surprised at how large it is because it's quite a drive actually getting to the main house. Now, I'm not staying in the main house, I'm staying in one of the smaller cabins, which I will show you later. I am just over the moon, excited to have finally arrived. It is soaking wet, so I have no choice but jump out of the car and get my sneakers and socks soaking wet. I wonder about the luggage, but he says don't worry, leave it, and it turns out that my brother will actually get the luggage for me. We had stopped at a supermarket for some basic supplies, water, toilet paper, that kind of stuff. Here my dad warns me to not slip and fall. The sand has washed away and the clay that remains is super slippery to walk on. I make an attempt to pull up my pant legs to spare them the mud, but my shoes and socks are thoroughly drenched at this point. I'm mentioning here that the rain is actually warm and I really don't mind it. And the warning wasn't for no reason because whoops, that was me almost falling on my bum anyway despite the warning. This is my little live vlog post that I do and send home. I am so pale. I just also love how my skin tone improves as the weeks go by. I don't mind that it's raining. I'm just loving the birds. My suitcase was collected for me and I'm just, yeah, excited. You can tell. The first thing my dad does is rip a inga bean out of the, or sour cream, no, ice cream bean. That's the word. The ice cream bean out of the tree. Actually, two. And I get to eat one, which is totally awesome. And with a lot of things, I will remember either the taste, sound, or scent, but I don't have the vocabulary what it is. And that is so interesting because I left when I was 3 years old. Yeah, that's just remarkable to me that scents, tastes, and sounds are stored somewhere in my brain, but I just didn't have the words. Here's my brother who got the luggage for me, and this is the house that I'll be staying at. It's a wooden structure with an ensuite bathroom that had just been built, and my eldest brother, who you just catch his profile in a moment, he is trying to sort out the plumbing, but he was not successful. So no showers for me indoors. I'll talk more about that later. We're inside the house getting some food. So this is the other house, and his Jeanette's house, and she fried fish. There's rice, vegetables, and cassava bread, or yuca in Spanish, which is a staple dish for the indigenous and Creole people of Suriname. My dad insists on taking me around for a walk around to get a lay of the land, which I really like because that is so my thing. I really want to know where I'm staying and to catch my bearings as soon as I can. And he's just basically explaining about the layout, what used to be there, what he's doing to the land now. And I have switched my sneakers for dry socks and rubber boots, which I had with me because I had read that it's the rainy season. So I took rubber boots with me. Yep, that is the kind of person I am. As you can see, it's really, really soaking wet. The water's not going anywhere. As I said, Suriname is actually part of the Amazon, so tropical rainforest climate. This is another ice cream bean tree, and he's explaining to me how sometimes animals climb in there to get the ice cream bean because they also like sweetness. And he's pointing out some trees here and there, things he planted odd some years ago, and I'm just fascinated. Things grow so quickly and it's so green and lush, and the scents, I cannot tell you how gorgeous the scents are. It's so warm and earthy and rich. This is a, how do I call this? Dugout? Well, it's just this big hole in the ground, and I asked if there were any caiman in there, and the answer was not at this moment. And sure enough, later in our stay, we will actually see a caiman and her babies inside. But that's totally safe, don't worry. They are quite small, non-aggressive species. We continue our rounds, and this is a pina hut. It is a typical built by the indigenous, so the first people who still populate Suriname, but in very, very small numbers. The roof is made of palm tree leaves. The structure is wood, and in this case, the flooring is cement. And to my surprise, she's actually baking cassava bread, fresh cassava bread, and I can't tell you how long I haven't had this and how delicious it is. And as with any bread, fresh and warm, oh, nothing beats it. So this is such a treat. And I do steal a piece. Yep, that's me stealing a piece. And now one of the huts burned down since they still use slash and burn techniques. I know, terrible, but sometimes that means your structure's burned down as well. Here's another toilet and shower unit for public use when the large structure over there is used for parties and events. Yeah, the fire lobby. This is my favorite flower slash tree. It's the only Surinamese word I knew when I was small. So I'm just excited to see it here. Dusk is, no, not dusk. Yes, dusk is happens really, really fast around the equator. As you can see in this, what, 5 or 10 minute walk, it's just turning pitch black. Here's the kitchen, or the outdoor kitchen.
Van
Mm.
elke oogst. Oh ja, het staat
This
vol met
is
hoop
a
van de
storage house. It's
Al die ziekenplaten.
is it metal or tin? I don't know the word for tin in English. Metal sheeting, because you have to keep the rodents out. This is where she stores the
Ja, dat
rice
is nog mooier.
harvest.
Omdat het
Here
donker
is a bucket of marepa. I have to look for the translation. Pits that she uses to create natural oils. And at this point, it's just too dark to see, and we will just come back another day to do a full
Ja, dit moet ik morgen even met daglicht
tour
bekijken hoor.
of
Ik
the
heb het
back
niet...
of the property. This particular palm tree has huge
Ik weet nog heel goed
thorns, and actually one of the things that you have to be scared of more than snakes or caiman is falling branches and trees. They hurt more people and it happens way more often.
Misschien hebben ze hier planken opgelegd.
Yeah, this kind of concludes our tour. There are some wasps in my cabin which will be removed, thank heavens. They thought an air mattress would be a good idea. I absolutely hate air mattresses. So we brought in a bed instead. We had to assemble it at this point in time. Get a mattress and a mosquito net because I'm not sleeping with bugs. So my brothers are here and still helping me. Ta-da! The final setup.